Hello, my crafty friends. If you are, I thought I had this a little better than that. Okay, sorry. I should have gotten this done while we were there. That's a little better. While I was, before I hit go live, um, I started a little bit early, so nobody's here yet. But if you're watching the replay, thanks for watching. I don't know that I'm going to stay on very long. I did too much on Sunday. Part of it was streaming, but part of it was cooking, and I ended up messing up my back, and so it's been a long week. But I am going to stream for a minute, so a few minutes. I'm going to make a couple of bats, and so that I can have some stuff to spin, and then I'm probably going to get off right after that. So um, when I was on with Tanya on Sunday, I made these really messy rologs from my blending board. And each one of these is just a little over 25 grams. They are 53 grams together. And I needed 4 of them in order to do, close to a 4 ounce bat or 100 gram bat. I mean, skein of yarn. And this was the stuff for the next 2 bats. But I struggled with it a little bit, and I thought it might be funner. It might be easier, is the truth. It might be funner too, but I thought it would be easier to use my drum carder and mix what would have been 2 more of these big old rologs onto the drum carder, and then I can spin these as one ply, and the bat that I'm going to make out of these as the second ply, and see how different they are. So, well, I've seen people come in and leave, so I don't know if something's wrong. Um, that's weird. That doesn't usually happen, so I'm kind of concerned that maybe it's not working. Um, I'm a little confused. I might ought to just get off and go make a video and forget this. I've struggled with um, having my stuff work right. Anyway, I had people come in and leave and come in and leave and come in and leave, and so now I'm wondering if this isn't working. But I honestly don't know how to check it. Oh, sorry, I'm going to mute for a minute. Sorry, that was my mom. Well, once again, I'm having people come in and leave, and so I'm okay. I'm just gonna. If you're here, could you say something real quick so I can see if this is even working? Um, I've had people come in and leave and come in and leave and come in and leave, and that's not normal. So I'm beginning to think something's wrong. Nope, it just happened again. Okay. I guess I'm gonna stop and not even do this and just make a video. I don't know what else to do. Well, somebody left a like. Brittany. Okay, so you can see me. Okay. Well, it keeps telling me people are here, and then they go away, and then they're back, and then they go away. And so I thought maybe nobody, maybe I wasn't really streaming, maybe it wasn't working. But if Brittany's here, then I know it's working, and Brittany's enough people for me. So I'm happy. If you don't mind watching me make a bat, Brittany. When I streamed with Tanya on Sunday, I made these roll-logs on my what do you call that thing? My blending board. And they're really messy, and they really hurt my back to try and pull them off that blending board. And I decided I didn't want to make the other two on the blending board. And so I put the stuff in here, and I'm going to just make a bat. And that way I can spin these two together, and I can spin the bat. And then I can ply them together and make a yarn. I'll show you what and it may just be a short video to show you the difference between what the single looks like when I do it from these and what the one looks like that I do from the bat that I'm going to make today. Before I apply them together, I might show you the difference in what the yarn looks like. I'm trying to get some more art yarn type yarns made to weave with now that I'm going to have a loom I can weave on again. So that's what's going on today. How are you doing, Brittany? I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I hope things are going well for you. I'm going to start. I don't know where to start. So I'm going to start by just fluffing this fiber out, separating it, making it thin, and so it's easier to get onto the drum carder. And then we're just gonna go from there. Do this in layers. It is labor today, but we're gonna do it in layers. And I'm just doing this all the way down. It's just this long, so it's not a huge long piece, but that's what I'm trying to do. Brittany says, I'm doing okay, trying to find a speech therapist for Kelsey because she's 16 months old and still not talking. All she says is, uh-oh. Hi, Beth. Well, Brittany, I know, Ethan started talking when he was 7 months old. And at 18 months old, Hannah was saying Baba, and that was all she said. And Baba was everything. It was brother, it was bottle, it was, drink, it was mama, it was everything. It was the only thing she said. And I took her to the pediatrician because I was very concerned. And he said that she wasn't abnormal. It's not abnormal, he said, for kids to be late talking like that. Don't fret over it, that Ethan was the one that was unusual. Anyway, I'm saying that to tell you that I struggled with that. And she was also having a lot of trouble spitting up and just uncomfortable and miserable all the time. And you haven't said anything about that being an issue for Kelsey, but she was having a lot of food allergies. And until we got that kind of taken care of, she didn't start talking. But once things got better with her gut, she started talking. Anyway, I don't know if I'm just saying there might be something that's not a speech issue, but it would be good to test her hearing and all that stuff. But if she reacts to you and seems to understand what you're saying, then it's probably not a hearing issue. I took Hannah to a speech therapist as well because I was concerned. But she wanted to read, but she couldn't. She was saying the letters all backwards, and she was getting them confused. And the speech therapist said that she had an articulation problem, not a hearing problem. I mean, they did hearing tests and said it wasn't a hearing issue. It was um, an articulation issue. Anyway, um, once she started talking, she never shut up, and she started talking in sentences when she finally started. I remember my mom saying that my uncle was the same way. He didn't talk till he was almost 3, but when he did, he started talking in sentences. So that doesn't necessarily mean there's something really wrong. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to encourage you. It may not sound like it, but that's what I'm trying to do. But for Hannah, her talking issue turned out to just be that she was just trying to trying to live. And she didn't have the energy to talk. But anyway, she doesn't seem to have any other issues. She's had her 15-month appointment and no problems. She walks all over the place, and she knows a lot of words and what they mean when we talk to her. Yeah, I wouldn't be real concerned about it, Brittany. She just may not need to talk. I had a cousin who had her daughter wouldn't talk, and she took her to the doctor, and the doctor said that it was asking her about all these other things. Is she doing this? Is she doing this? And she was right up on par with everything else. But her talking was, not happening. And then she said, yeah, and she was, she did make lots of noises, but it just wasn't words. And anyway, the doctor was talking to her, and the big sister was there, but you don't have this issue probably, but I just thought it was funny. The big sister knew what she wanted and would do everything before she had to actually ask for it. And so she was late talking because she didn't really have to say anything to get what she wanted. So there are all kinds of different reasons why she might not be talking yet. It doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong. But I understand the need to go and try to get some kind of confirmation of that, or I understand, and I hope you find out and are able to resolve it. She definitely makes noises all day long, yeah, but she just may not need to talk or feel the need to talk yet. I don't know. Okay, this looks like this is going to end up being a very smooth back compared to those Rologs. But that's probably not necessarily a bad thing, because I want it to. I want them to be a little bit different, to spin a little different, so that makes the ply more interesting. The yarn more interesting when you look at it. If the two plies are not, if they don't spin exactly the same. I've got lots of vegetable matter in here I'm having to try to take out. Beth, I haven't yet sent your locks. I'm going to try to go to the post office tomorrow, but I probably have your address somewhere. But I've if you don't mind, if you would email me, my email should be in the description box under the video. But if you would email me your address, and then I don't have to go looking for it, I'll be much more likely to get that sent out tomorrow. Hannah's tax forms came here instead of to where she's living now, so I have to send those. So I have a good reason to go to the post office tomorrow. But I haven't gone anywhere. I went to the chiropractor on Tuesday, and I haven't gone anywhere since then because I've been having so much trouble with my back and my hip. That'd be great, Beth. Thanks. Anyway, I do want to get those locks sent out to you. I'm doing it a little faster now to see if it will come if it will come up more, um, what should I say? If it'll not be quite so smooth. I'm surprised how smooth that white wool is when I put it on here. That just really amazes me because it's really messy. It's not, something that I would think would end up being really nice. So anyway, that's actually a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what. I don't know the order I put stuff in when I was doing the those Rologs, and I'm not worrying about trying to make it the same. I'm just going to put everything on here, and it's going to be what it is, and we will see. The one thing I'm not sure I haven't done on my drum carder is these, but I think I'm just going to do them from up here. I don't want any of these locks going across here. That's one reason why I'm putting them on this way, because they will make it very difficult to get this bat off of the drum carder if I have them right there. So, well, I'll be praying, Brittany, that that the person you go to see, um, knows what to do and can give you some reassurances. And if there is something that needs to be done, they will know what to do, because it's hard. We all want what absolutely best thing for our babies. Uh-oh. I'm going to stop that one there. Put it in over here. Okay. We're just putting it all in here. Let's do some of this. I think I did some of this already, but like I said, I'm trying not to worry about what order I'm putting stuff in. I'm just putting it in. All right, I'm going to stop with that. And let's go ahead and we're going to do this one now. And I'm going to fluff it out too, because I don't want the tines on this drum carder are longer than the average tines on a drum carder. And I got that so I could make thick bats, art bats, and that kind of thing. But they will bend easier. And so I have to be a little more careful. That's why putting the locks on the way I did. It not only protects the locks, but it protects the tines on the drum carder to not have them pulling against it. So, oh, thank you, Beth. I think it's beautiful too. I don't know. Were you here when I did the Rologs on the blending board in Tanya's stream? Were you there? I can't remember. But I can show them to you because I showed them, I think, before you came in. But they're messy looking, but they'll be fun to spin, and that's the point, is the fun to spin part. And I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I want lots of texture. Okay, well, let me just show you real quick what they look like. this is what they look like. And normally my Rologs coming off the blending board, well, for one thing, they're not usually this big, even when I do the whole, put a full ounce on the blending board. But that's because this wool is real bouncy and it fluffed up a lot. But they also did not want to come off. And so they're a mess. But I think they're going to be fun to spin. And since I'm not wanting, a perfect yarn, I'm not worried about the fact that they're kind of a mess. Oh, awesome. Well, I love my blending board. The way I was sitting here when I was trying to use it was not not the best way to use it. So, okay, let's go back with some more of this. I already picked this out. I'm doing a no-no, picking this out over the top of this because stuff falls out. So I'm going to try to make myself do it to the side because I don't want to get the dirt that's falling out to go on here. It's so dry here. I was trying to pick some alpaca fleece this morning to get it ready because I want to make a bat where I'm blending it with my Finn fleece. And so I think that'll be a really wonderful yarn. But it took longer for me to try to get that off of my fingers after I flicked it than it did to flick it and get it ready. So that's what I did, Beth. Only I made my own. Darren didn't make it for me, but it was. But I did. I ordered the cloth and made my own. So it's kind of one of those. What do you call that? It's like, I don't know, when they did all the country blue and white country craft stuff. Anyway. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and add some more of this. I didn't realize I had. It feels like a lot more when you're putting it on here than it does when you're putting it on the blending board. You nailed it to a board. I used a staple gun and stapled mine. And it works great. I just was trying to use it when I wasn't. It wasn't the best time, actually, probably. Okay, here it is. Okay, I've got this sari silk here it's longer pieces, and I figured out last time that I need to break this up because it's if I let those long pieces wrap around the drum carder, that's not going to work. See, you can see some really long strings. So I'm just breaking it up, and then we're going to like I said, I'm wanting texture, so these kinds of things add texture. I appreciate y'all coming in, so I don't have to I can visit and not feel alone while I do this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and brush it down. I know this makes a lot of noise. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, let's see. What do I want to do next? I've got some more of this. Oh, there's another little piece of that. And I've got some more of this and some more locks and some more silk stuff and some more of the white. So I'm trying to decide what to do next. I think I'm going to add a few more of the locks because and then I'll put the last of them maybe on top so it'll show up better. Okay, let's see. You know, when I was on with Tanya and I was making those Rologs off the blending board, and somebody said you need green, and of course I would love to have more green in there. Um, it's funny how happy I was with all the colors until somebody said you need more green, and then I was suddenly wasn't happy. I was like, oh, I need more green. And I thought, well, I've got some BFL locks that um, I dyed, and I think I've got some that are green, and so I thought it might be fun to just add those in as I'm spinning. I don't know. That's something to think about. So I might do that. We'll just see when it comes down to spinning to get some more green in. All right, let's go ahead and put this down some too. Green is my favorite. It is. And since this is oceany, it does need some more green. But one reason that I thought about the locks was because they will look kind of like seaweed, you know, added in, which I think will be fun. So I'm going to do this away from my drum carder, but I'm just breaking this up again to put in there. So I can't remember if I actually said this or if I went off some other direction when I was first starting to talk about it, but I was trying to pick all the fibers, I mean the vegetable matter and stuff, and open up the alpaca fleece that I want to blend with my fin fleece. And when I was doing that, it was so I did say it. It was so staticky I couldn't get it off my fingers, and it was like, so I need to, I don't know, moisten it down. I've never tried that. I've done it with wool, and it works to just spray it with a little bit of water. But I'm not sure. I think we're going to try something else here I haven't tried before. That's what this kind of thing is for, is experimenting. I'm going to put just a little strip. Put it in strips and let the drum carder pull it in the way it wants to in these strips. I don't know if that'll work or not. I haven't ever done it. Hi, Tanya. Welcome, welcome. Well, I'm glad you came in for a minute. I don't know how long I can stay. I messed up my back on Sunday. Then I went to the chiropractor, and she does these stretches for my hip, and she was doing those after she worked on my back. And when she put my leg back down, I felt something pull, and I spent the rest of the day crying because it just hurt so bad. And it's taken me this long to get over that. My back got better, pretty quick, but that other stuff, goodness gracious, I'm sorry, I've seen vegetable matter. And I'm just going to put this in and see how we can get it to. Anyway, I decided I want to make more textured art yarns for when I'm weaving, because I'm getting so excited about getting to weave again. So hi, Sherry. I'm glad you're here. Now this is straightening it out, but it is leaving it kind of in stripes. So that'll be good. Except for one thing. The one not good thing about it is that, and I'll show you in just a second. This, I don't know why things are coming over to this side more than I want them to. Up here, you want this to be fairly even. Oh, it's more even than I thought. But there's some weak places right here that are not as thick. And so, it's, I need to put more stuff in those places. So let's do this. No. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try to. Okay. I'm going to have to fluff this out. I was hoping I wouldn't have to, but I'm going to have to. I just need to know that that's what I'm going to have to do. Okay. Now then. Okay. Bye, Tanya. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Get everything done you need to done. You need to done. You need to do. I can't even talk today. Oh dear. But I want to get this bat done, and I'm just going to run it through one time. I don't want to over blend it so that it comes out like this, smooth yarn. Actually, I'm going to wait a minute on that. I want to add in some more the white fleece. And I'm going to leave a little bit of it to put at the end, but I want to fluff this out. I'm really pleased with how this drum carter's carding this white fleece, because it's not an easy, neat fleece like some of them are. Taking out some more vegetable matter. I'm not going to try and get it all out, but some of the pieces are bigger than others, and I'm trying to get out as much as I can. I'm going to go kind of fast and see if that'll clump it. Yeah. All right, that's what I wanted, kind of clumped on. Okay. Now we're going to put this in. We're just going to let it do what it wants to with it. What is that? A leaf. A bit of a leaf, not a whole leaf. Okay. And now I'm going to put some more of this on there. That's a big piece. Look at that. I wish they were all that big. It'd be easier to get everything out. In that alpaca that I was working with today, I washed it twice and rinsed it, and it looked really nice. But when I went over my towel that I had in my lap and started doing this, I mean, it was just like dirt and stuff just falling out like crazy. There was way more vegetable matter in it than I thought, but there was also still just a ton of dirt. That with sheep's wool, the dirt, because they like to lay in the dirt too. They don't roll in it all the time like alpacas do, but they still get dirty. But the dirt kind of gets into the lanolin, and when you wash the lanolin out, you get most of the dirt out. But with an alpaca, I'm convinced that you can wash it and flick it and spin it and wash it again, and it may still have dirt in it after that. Okay, let's go fast with this and see if we can get it clumpy, because I like the clumpy. All right, that looks good. And then we've got some more. Here's some more of that silk. I'm actually going to just cut this time. I think it'll be easier to get it on there safely, because I still had it wanting to wrap more than I wanted it to. This will make it a little tweedier. This is not very good scissors to do that with, but anyway, doesn't matter. we are about to get this one done. And when I streamed, I don't know if it was a stream or a video I did, where I was making a bat out of the Cormo wool, and I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what all else I had in that besides Cormo. Anyway, I made one bat, and then I decided it was getting too long and I wanted to wait to make the other one. Well, I've never made the other one. So I'm going to make the second bat for the second ply for that yarn after this one. And then I'm going to get off because I don't want to do too much and mess myself up. So, okay, so there's that. And all we've got left are a few locks. The first thing I'm going to do is just break them up here. So that it'll be easier to put them on. And these I'm going to break up a little bit smaller. Because I want them to be incorporated as good as we can. And it's harder for them to be incorporated if they're bigger, thicker. But I still want the curls to show. So I don't want to do them. So that's not curly, but we're going to leave it because it's good fleece. Hi, Jean Peter. I haven't seen you in so long. Welcome, welcome. I'm having so much fun. I love playing on the drum carder, and I love spinning. Well, I like to spin yarns that look just like, a nice yarn to crochet with or something. But I also like to spin yarns that are more textured. And that's what, now that I'm going to be able to weave again, I'm working on some yarns that will put a lot of texture into my weaving. So I'm excited to be spinning more different kinds of yarn. Okay, now then. Let's just do it like this. We're just going to layer them on there. And we'll see how good they stay in once, when I take the bat off. I don't know. Well, so I'm going to put that one short there because I want one there, but I don't want it to go over this. We're almost there. Okay. We're going to run it through a few times like that. Hi, Barbara. I'm so glad you're here. Here I am. And I know that it would be better if I would remember to go into Facebook and tell everybody I'm going to be on. But I literally lately don't know if I'm going to be on until I actually do it. And I'm afraid that I don't want to go into Facebook early. And there's really not a whole lot of reason to go into Facebook if you're going to get a notification from YouTube anyway. So I haven't been doing it. Okay, now we're going to take this off. And I'm trying, I don't always manage this, but I try to take it off where this side that I'm going to be pulling from is the long side and try to get all the shorter fibers over here. It doesn't always work, but if you pull towards this way when you're pulling up, lots of times it'll do that. And then it's easier to get it off. This doesn't become a mess and make it harder for you if I do it that way. Okay, just a second. I had to get up. Okay. I don't have it clamped down very good, so it's not wanting to. Oh, that's a yucky piece. It's like a little sticker. Oh. My house is so dry. Everything's wanting to stick to me. Okay. Now then, I'm just going to grab this and pull this way. And I'm going to let this just kind of go between there again. You see how fat this is getting? All that bouncy wool, because there's about 55 grams of fiber in this bat. Woo, that looks oceany, doesn't it? That's what I wanted. So yay. I'm going to put that over there with the two roll logs these are okay. In these two bundles, there's the same amount of fiber as in this. It doesn't look like it, but these two together is the same amount of fiber as this bat. So I'll spin one ply with this and one ply with this, and we'll see what we get. Now I got to get this out of my way. Oh, don't throw it on the plant, Lisa. Yeah, your plants have trouble surviving as it is. Okay. I think it's pretty. I'm excited. I can't wait to spin it. All right. Now this next one, first thing I want to do is show you the bat that is already done, because I'm just making the second one. I tend to make bats and one for each ply and make about 2-ounce bats. And if I want more than a 4-ounce skein, then I make more than 2 bats. But here is the bat we did last time. It's got green on top. It's like springtime. And then it's got a bunch of stuff inside. Anyway, I've got all that same stuff. And I'm going to make another bat. But it may or may not end up looking like this one. I don't think it matters that much. As long as it's got the same stuff in it, it'll be fun to spin. So, thank you, Jean. All right. Now, last time, and I'm going to do this again, we made these little bats when we were doing the other one. We blended our fibers. This was the Cormo sheep's wool that I had dyed. And I made little bats of each color. And then I went through, I do remember this much. I went through and I added Angora rabbit into each of these and sent them through again to blend it up. So that's what I'm going to do now, is blend the Angora rabbit in with these. And the way I do that is to make a sandwich. And to make a sandwich, you need a top and a bottom that's wool. And the reason we do this is because that Angora bunny fiber is shorter. Well, it's not a whole lot shorter than this, which is one reason I'm putting it with it. because it'll blend better with fibers that are of similar length. But the Angora rabbit will just get caught on this. And if you put it in here, it's real glumpy, and I want it a little bit more inside. I want it blended up a little bit more than that. But anyway, this is Angora bunny rabbit fur. I just ordered it, and she, took it off the little bunny and sent it to me. So it hasn't been had any kind of preparation done to it. But I'm just adding it into each color. And I got this from rarityfibers.com. I got it on Etsy. But anyway, and then I'm going to spread this one out and make the second piece of bread for my sandwich. And then I'm going to send these through. I'm going to try to send them through slow. And I'm not holding them back, but I'm also not allowing them to bunch up. If you hold them back, you end up with everything going on here instead of onto the big drum where you want it. So I'm just kind of, and hopefully that Angora will mix in and not just get caught up on here, because I had the, okay, see, there's just a big bunch. Okay, where is my, there it is. My porcupine. My porcupine. Let's do this. Okay. Oh, see, then I forgot and I let it bunch up. And if you stop and pull at it while it's not going, it does a better job. Oops, sorry, just 1 minute. Sorry, that was my mama. My stepbrother had brought them some pizza and salad for lunch, and she wants me to come over and get some of the leftovers. But she's fixing to take a nap, so she wanted to make sure I had the key that she was locking. There's 2 locks. She wanted to make sure she was locking the right one so that I could come over. Okay, now this is a very small bat, but that's okay. It's what we had in this color. Oh, just a second. Got to get up to pull them off. And we need to take this off because I've had it come falling on the floor before when I... Okay, so there's that one, and it's got some of that blue. I'm not going to worry about it, but it's got some blue left from the last one. I'm going to take it in half, and I'm just going to spread it out. Maybe I didn't put as much bunny rabbit in this one because it doesn't seem to really need to be carded again, but I'm going to do it anyway because I did the other one that way. I said they didn't have to be the same, but it's in my nature to make things symmetrical, and so I have to fight against that. All the paper crafting I've done has really helped me with that, but it's still my initial first reaction to things is to try to make them symmetrical. Anyway, there's a little bit more of that bunny stuff in this side of it. So I'm going to go a little slower when I get here, so maybe it can stretch those out better. They won't clump up as bad, maybe. Okay. Porcupine quill, Lisa. People use these for a reason. Okay. This time when I take it off, we're just going to set it aside because I've mixed it all. I'm going to mix it. Alrighty. So there's my yellow bat with bunny. And I'm going to go ahead and divide it into thirds because that's how we did it last time. We put it in 3 times. So I'm going to set that aside. And it'll be ready to add in. I'm still amazed about how easily these come apart in straight pieces. I just think that's really, really cool. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing to the green one. And the green one, I have less of it than anything. And this one feels like it's less than the other one was. So I may not have done a very good job when I was splitting them in half. Because I divided them just like that and called it half, you know. I didn't weigh them or anything. Okay. I'll add some bunny to this. I'm just going to fluff this out because I think if I do a better job fluffing, I'll have less of that, those, you know, big clumpy bits. I don't know. We'll find out. Seems logical that there would be less. You can just do this. And there's no vegetable matter in this, so I'm doing it right over this without any problem. But you can just do that and spin it just like that. It's called spinning from the cloud. And that's the only way I've spun Angora rabbit so far, was to spin it from the cloud. And it makes a nice yarn that way. But I thought it would be fun to add this in. I make the top one a little bit wider so that it covers up better. Oops. You get so used to the way it feels with this brush in there, it feels like it's not going to work if you don't have it. But it really would. It just wouldn't pack itself. I'm going to do it slow. Y'all still here? I see people, but nobody's chatting. so far we haven't had any of those huge clumps. So maybe my, well, I say that and then there comes one. It's what happens when you make a proclamation. Barbara's still here. Okay, sort of. Okay, Barbara, sort of is good enough. Okay, see that definitely, where I have more of it, it just went ahead and clumped anyway. So that wasn't the cure I was looking for. But I also was turning it not quite as quietly as I mean, slowly as I said I was going to. So, okay, we're going to just go ahead and get this on there, and we'll take it off and do it again. Watching and eating. That sounds good. Oh, Barbara, I'm so sorry. I hope you get well quickly. My mom, what she was calling about was there's some pizza she wants me to come over and get leftovers. So, I will when I get through here. She'll probably still be in a nap. Oh, take this off, Lisa. I just noticed I didn't get up. And so I didn't see this. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm going to put this back through again anyway. So this, you see it looks like crimpy locks. It's really not. That Angora was very straight, but the other wool is so crimpy that it stretches out on here, and when you take it off, it shrinks back, and that makes it look like this. So, what's the rule? Feed a cold, starve a fever? I've been starving a cold. Well, go eat. I usually go by, do I feel like I should eat something or not, more than what conventional wisdom is. I don't know if that's good or not, but that's what I usually do. Do I think I could eat today? Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I eat and I think, oh, should not have done that, but I'm going to go real slow and see how that does. This is such crimpy wool, it's actually letting me hold it back a little bit and still going on to the drum because it stretches out so much. Counting stitches and knitting. That sounds good. I'm in that coldy grump right now. Don't want milk, so cereal is out. Yeah. Okay. Let's stretch this one out, and we'll do it the same way. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot of neps in this wool, but when you see one that just kind of volunteers itself to come out, you might as well go ahead and take it out. Okay, get off. If I wasn't wanting this bat to have some texture, I would go ahead and card this again because it's still only partially incorporated. But I do want it to have some texture, so I'm not going to. That's the difference between a little bat and a big bat, is how easy it comes off. Not used to doing it from this side. Okay. All righty. Let's grab that and just kind of toss it in there. And there's the green bat. And I'm going to do the same thing with it. I'm going to divide it into thirds and set them aside. We have 2 more colors to do this to, and then we can actually put the bat together. Okay. Are y'all getting bored with incorporating Bunny into this? Okay, this is a much bigger bat, much thicker and everything. So I'm going to do it in halves, and I'll probably do the pink in halves as well because it's also a lot bigger. And I'll just, because this one, I want to, okay, where's that? Let's stick it up there. And I'm also going to stretch it out some, draft it a little, pre-draft it. Because there's a lot more fiber in this one. When you kettle dye, and this was all dyed in a pot together, then you end up with, some fiber getting, some colors having dyeing a lot more fiber. It's kind of amazing that when you kettle dye, it doesn't all turn one color. But part of that depends on how you put your color in there. And I put it in there in a way that, to try to get this effect. So if you want it to all blend together, you can definitely do that. But that wasn't what I wanted, so. Oh, there it is. Barbara says, it's mesmerizing. I like watching this and listening to you talk about it. My brain can't handle much more right now. I completely understand. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stretch this one out, and then go ahead and widen it up too, just so that. More vegetable matter. I probably made this one a lot longer than that one. A little bit. But it'll shrink up a little bit because it does. When I stretch it out, that shrinks it up a little bit. So it might end up being close to the same. Okay, I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to do one mini bat out of this and another mini bat out of that and keep them separate, but it doesn't matter. That's not what I did. My brain doesn't remember what it was going to do in between the saying and the doing. Oh, thank you. He's doing pretty good, Beth. doing pretty good. As he's got a lot of pain issues right now, back pain, and so he's been going to the pain management folks. And honestly, they're doing these treatments every 8 days. Takes 2 hours, and um, it's supposed to be, this wonderful thing. But so far, he and my mom and I and my sister, none of us feel like it's really doing anything for him. So he's still going to finish the treatment, but he may have to go back in and have that procedure where they put glue in to his vertebrae and glue it together for a compression fracture. He's had that done once, and then he got a new spot. And so they're trying this first because he's 88 years old, and they don't want to do something that glue procedure isn't always successful, and it has more possible side effect issues. So they don't want to do it if something else might work, but the something else doesn't seem to be working. So okay. I got out a little too much. I'll stick this back in here. 1 ounce of bunny fiber goes a long way. I already used out of this bag for the other bat, the one I showed you before we started doing this. Okay. Now then, I'm going to do this very slowly again because that's what it takes to keep it from making a mess. And I don't want to mess up my tines, so. Well, it is serious, but it's funny because my mom has the same problem. She has compression fractures, and I don't know if they offered her this treatment or not, but she just wears a brace. She chose to wear a brace instead of having this kind of thing done, and I don't know if his are worse, or when she did hers, it was horrible. It was horrible to watch and to try to help her, or if she just doesn't, isn't as likely to want medical intervention as he is. She's always been a do things as naturally as you can person, so it may be a difference in their own personal philosophies and not the doctor they're seeing. I don't know. Of course, she goes to an osteopath and a chiropractor, and more than to regular doctors. So I don't know. I don't know if there's something different about his injury than hers, but they call it the same thing. So Barbara says, Lisa, have you heard of electronic stimulation for pain control? E-stim is the short version. They put little pads on the muscles surrounding the pain and run current through. Yes, I have actually. And I had those treatments for my back. Over the years, I've done it several times. And I think it does help in the short term. But, well, this is, I didn't make my first top one is drawing in faster than the bottom one. I'm going to try to hold the top one back and see if it'll just take from the bottom. And I think my mom has had some of that done too, but her compression fractures seemed to heal over the course of a few months, but his don't seem to be doing that. And that's why he's doing this other thing, I think, is because hers would get better, um, but his are not. Okay. Sherry says, my dad is 95-ish. There is a surgery that he needed for his heart, but because of his age, they don't want to risk it if he doesn't want to. Yeah. Um, and sometimes, I don't know, I can't speak for anyone else. I can only speak for myself. But I think there comes a time when you have to just say, I'm getting old. And 95 is one of those times. If he doesn't want it, I would respect his wishes. My mom would make that decision. I don't know if, you know, um, if Daryl would or not, but everybody's different and has their own ideas. Oh, that's a good idea. I ought to try that on my hip. I have not tried it on my hip. Um, and part of it's because it's really my hip flexor, not my hip. And that hip flexor muscle, comes from the front to the back under. Anyway, it's a very long muscle and it can make you hurt in various places. And mine does, both in the back and in the front. It takes turns where it wants to hurt. So, all right. We're going to pull this one off and um, he wouldn't tell me one way or the other. He didn't want to burden me with anything. Yeah, I understand that, Sherry. I do. He wants to not make things harder on you. Okay. Oh. I'm going to pull this off. This does not feel like enough fiber, so I'm wondering if maybe I did set some of this blue aside somewhere else and I just can't see it right now. I'm looking, trying to see if I set it aside somewhere, because this doesn't feel like it's as much as what I had before. All right. Give me a minute here and let me see if I can find that other half. Well, it's not on the floor. It's not on my shelf. It's not up here with my other fiber. It's not in with this other rest of the bunny stuff. I guess this is really it, but well, it shrinks after you get it in there. And so maybe this is it. It's just spread out now instead of shrunken on itself. That is the same muscle as I think that and the hip flexor are the same thing. I think they're just, I might be wrong about that though, Barbara. I think there's just another name for it, but I might be wrong. But if they're not the same thing, then yeah, there are two very long muscles. Okay. Okay, let's spread this out. See if I can get it to, when you stretch it, you bunch it back up, and then it's hard to remember with all that stuff on top which direction you had it spread out. Okay. I'm going to put the bunny side down to put it in, and I think that it will work better. Yes, I understand. I do. My daddy was the kind of person, my mom always wanted to call the church and have everybody on the prayer chain be praying. And my dad was like, no, don't bother everybody. I don't want, this is private. Don't bother everybody. So, if it was something serious, she just had to make the decision to not listen to it, which, I still, it's hard to know if that's the right decision or not. Okay. Yeah, the hip flexor, um, it goes from like inside, like in your groin area. I mean, your thigh, inside your thigh, and then up towards the back. So I'm not sure. You're the baby. Yes, that's true. Well, and um, I know from my own experience, I try to prevent my kids worrying about me as much as I can. So I understand that too. Okay, this is mixing better, so that's good. I'm going to do the second one the same way and just put um, the bunny rabbit underneath when I'm. Where's my porcupine? When I add it on. There we go. It's funny how we want our parents to let us help, and then we find we're kind of the same way. um, of course, losing Darren so unexpectedly increased my children's anxiety levels where I'm concerned, and so they're even more worried about you know something happening to me now, and I understand that as well. And that's another reason why I try to you know, not be a burden if I can. Yeah. Well, my dad had rheumatoid arthritis, so we knew that he was in a lot of pain. We knew that he had tons of surgeries, and everybody else knew that too. But he hid it as good as he could. Um, But yeah, and sometimes I don't know, maybe sometimes it's a blessing because then you're not spending your all those years stressed out about it. But the shock of not expecting it, um, and just suddenly being presented with it as a fact at the end is that's pretty devastating too. So it's hard to know what's the best plan. Is it better to tell people? I think you should tell some people so they can support you. I don't know. It's hard to know. Let's think of a more fun subject. No. Okay. It does depend on the kids involved. I think it does. My dad he tried to hide his pain from us and how much it hurt him to continue to work and that kind of thing because he was trying to get my brother and sister through college before he quit work. And but we always knew, he didn't hide the fact that he had issues from us, but he did try to not let us know how much pain he was in. And but I never knew until it got the last few years of his life the kind of damage that rheumatoid arthritis does to your the rest of your body. I thought it was just a joint thing. I didn't realize that that it gets into your organs and your eyes and all of that. I didn't know that till it happened for him, and that was okay. Now we've got this, and I'm going to split it into thirds too. Oh, yeah, Barbara. Well, when you just feel crummy, I think somehow just feeling crummy is worse. It makes me whinier, than when I'm really having a hard time. I don't know how to explain that, but um, because we want to be doing things, and when you're really bad off, you don't want to do anything. But when you want to do stuff and then you can't, that's um, that's when I whine anyway. Yeah. Oh, they do come off so soft. It's really amazing. Okay, now we're down to one more of these, and we're going to do the same thing with it, and then we can put it all together pretty quickly. But this is the no, I'm just going to spread it out widthwise because it's a lot harder to manage a really, really long one. And I made those blue ones long enough I couldn't manage them very well. So I'm just going to spread this out. That's true, yes. And it's hard to know when you start feeling better. Okay, should I still stay home even though I'm not fully well? Or am I past where I can give it to people? um, okay, let's do the floofy because the more I floofed, the better it integrated. So floof and go slow. Those are the okay. I do need to spread this out a little longer. It really bunched up on me there. Okay. There we go. Now back to the flu. Where is it? Okay. That's kind of like, I knew people who, because their family was sick during the big C, they had to take the test and their test came back positive, but they didn't feel sick at all. I mean, not even a little bit. And they had to stay home, couldn't go to work, couldn't do anything because the test was positive, even though they didn't feel sick. Um, One person did a lot better job with it, I think, than someone else. They just decided to take it as a stay home vacation and didn't worry about it because it wasn't their fault they couldn't go back to work. It was the test, And so they just enjoyed themselves, did all the things that they wish they had time to do. And I thought that was a pretty healthy way to manage that. But Darren was always scared if any of us had a cold, and he was always afraid one of us is going to come back COVID positive, then he'd have to take the test. And he knew he needed to go to work. They needed him. And so he was always afraid that he might have to take a test no matter how he felt, And but none of us caught it during that time. We didn't catch it until actually we caught it at his funeral. But that was such a stressful time. We were all, our immune system was low and there were a lot of people there, and whoever came with it didn't know they had it until afterwards either. So it wasn't like somebody came knowing, But in fact, my mother got it like 3 days after, and then Hannah and I didn't get it until about a week after her. So we caught it from her and Daryl, I think, and not from whoever had it at the funeral. So yeah, that's when you get that many people all hugging and crying together. Luckily, nobody that got it. Well, no, that's not true. My brother-in-law had to go to the hospital with it because he has bad asthma issues, but he got well. It just took longer. But all the older people who were there didn't get it, and I was so grateful. I mean, didn't have any real issues. It was not, as bad as like if that had happened in 2020 when it was because what we got from the funeral was Omicron, and it wasn't, it wasn't as big a deal. I'm going to go slow. I keep forgetting to go slow. I told myself I was going to go slow. Y'all need to remind me when I start just buzzing away here that I need to go slow. Anyway, Hannah and I'm 100% positive, had the first bad COVID before they admitted it was in the States. And then we didn't get it again for 2 years, and then we got it again 2 years after that at Thanksgiving. So I think my immunity from one to the next lasts about 2 years. Yeah. My the reason I figured out that I had it was because of the issues I had with they kept talking about losing your sense of smell. And that's why I thought, oh, well, whatever I had, it was not COVID, because I did not lose my sense of smell. Everything just smelled horrible, rotten and metallic at the same time. And then I found out later that a bunch of people had that same kind of reaction. And still since then, every time I don't feel good, I get that same kind of metallic-y, rotten smell in my nose. And then when I start feeling better, it goes away. So weird. Yeah. Well, I saw a doctor talking about it, and he said they tested the blood supply in the United States, and they definitely found it in the blood supply as far back. They didn't test it until later, but the blood came from as far back as September of 2019. And Hannah and I got it in December of 2019. So we had it in December and January. It lasted a long time. When we had the Omicron versions, it didn't last us nearly as long. So, and everybody I know who's had it, in the last few years, it's mostly just been exhaustion more than anything. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that that's the worst of it. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just know that that's every time, the two times I had COVID in 2021 and 2023, it came back. That smell came back. Now, I have tested because the smell came back. I wasn't feeling great a couple of times, and I tested negative, but it was some kind of virus. And so that may have just, been activated now because of it, because it's there. It's activated anytime I have a virus, maybe. I don't know. That's my, but I always took a test when I smelt that just to be safe. But it doesn't last as long when I get it now as it did then. A trigger, yeah. I thought we were too. Sorry. Oh, I'm making pretty stuff. That's more fun. I'm learning. I'm watching videos and stuff on freestyle weaving, and I think I want to try some of that with my hand spun yarns and make scarves and the Ruana and maybe a shawl or two, those kinds of things. And I may make fabric if I can and make a shirt. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try that free weaving style. It's the Saori method, but if you're teaching how to do it and you're not a certified Saori teacher, you can't say you're teaching the Saori method. And so I decided to just go ahead and call what I'm doing freestyle weaving from the very beginning. In freestyle weaving inspired by the Saori method. Anyway, I'm really enjoying that, and I think that art yarns and things will be that'll be a great use for them. See, maybe I should get out my little 4x4 loom and weave some scraps to make quilt blocks. I think that'd be fun. I think you should. If you feel like doing it, it'd be fun to get out something and do something creative, something you can just sit in your chair and do. And that's the wonderful thing about those little looms. I'm definitely going to have to get off as soon as I get this bat done, though, because I can feel my My back is saying, okay, remember me? But we're almost through the hard part. When you put these kind of prepared tops through this thing, you cannot hold them the way I'm doing this because they do not have the spring that Prepared from Fleece has. A lot of it has been just plain removed from all the processing, although some of it does come back when you wash your yarn. But anyway. Okay, that did a pretty good job. I know, I know. I like this part right here where you see it go woof. That's a lot of fun. And that's why I like showing it from this angle. A lot of people show from back here where you're just, of course, my brush is in the back, which makes that harder too. But instead of showing it from right on top, and I like to see it, stretch itself out. Okay, now let's stretch this one out. Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of notifications. Now they've hidden the chat box, so I'll have to move them before I can see chat. So if I'm not answering your question, it's because I can't see the chat box right now. Now the pink and green and yellow bats are all different sizes, but I'm putting them in there in thirds like this. And so I switch up which position I put the color in so that so that it'll be the same thickness all the way across, because all three of those colors have different size. I have different amounts of them. Oh, I was going to get rid of those notifications. Sorry. I wish they would just disappear on their own, but they don't. Oh, good grief. That's ridiculous. Well, I do everything I can to control the ads when I'm doing a live stream. I tell them not to put ads in and, in the middle, let me put them in, and then I just don't add any. But I forget that they sometimes run ads on the side. I've got YouTube Plus, so I don't ever see the ads. And so, I forget how they're done sometimes. We started doing that when the kids were young because we didn't want them seeing all kinds of ads popping up while they're trying to watch stuff, because there were ads that they didn't need to see popping up. But anyway, we've just kept it because it's I think it's worth the money. Oh, okay. Okay. Take this off. I've done better. I haven't dropped it once today. All right. We're going to divide this one into thirds. Running out of space here. All right. Now then, besides those that I'll have to run back through, the other thing I have is, let's put this back on so I don't forget, is this green top and some green sari silk and a little bit of copper silk and copper Firestar. They're two different colors. This looks more orangey than copper, but they're both called copper. So those things I'm going to add in the layers as well. But I'm going to divide this I think into fourths. Okay. And this is what I put on the bottom and on the top. I remember that because this got all wrinkly when I took it off because the bat shrunk. But I wanted a fine layer of something. Yeah. I think it's, it's one of those things that I think on tapestry it might be harder to trust yourself because you think it should look like something. When I was trying to do tapestry, I was having that issue and I wasn't happy, so I quit doing tapestry. And maybe I should have just trusted myself, but I didn't. One thing, the word Saori, for the Saori weaving, it stands for every individual is important or something like that. Basically, what it's saying is that you just do things your own way. It's not, you don't have to do all the traditional weaving techniques for your weaving to be important. Doing one, and the fun thing about this kind of weaving is it can never be replicated, and so each piece is unique in unto itself, and that is cool too. So anything that you say sew out of your pieces is it's a unique piece. Nobody else can do it. Even if they tried, they couldn't replicate it, especially if you spun your own yarn. But even if you didn't, just all the different things you put into it and stuff, somebody could never do it exactly the way you did. Whereas most traditional weaving techniques, if you tell them what kind of yarn you had and what size your warp was and your loom, it could be repeated by someone else. Well, it depends, and different people call tapestry different things. But I think a pattern to do traditional tapestry weaving, I think a pattern is pretty much essential, where you have the way things go together. But I'm gonna stretch this out. It's going to be longer probably than the other two, but I don't want it to take up more space. More space in here than the other ones do. Okay, I'm not blue because I just put on a blue layer. I'm doing the blue separate and putting these colors in together. So there's going to be, the blue will be in 3 times. These colors will be in 3 times. But each time I'm going to move them around, because especially this green, there's a lot less of it than there is anything else. So, okay. Now then, we're going to put these in and we're going to go real slow. Then here I'm going to try to hold it in a little bit because it tends to go off my drum here more than anywhere. Okay, now it's blended a little too much over there. Almost stuff falling on the floor. There comes another notification. Well, I tend to kind of go all in, and which is one reason I have traditionally been gone from this to that to this to that, is because I tend to focus on something, and but okay, there's that layer, and now I'm going to put some of this on. Put it back here. So, and I want to add this in 2 or 3 times too. So I'm going to just kind of do it in bits. Okay, I'm going to save that. Let's do some of this. Okay. Put in some copper sparkle. Sherbet with sprinkles. There you go. And now I need a little bit of the silk. Okay. This one I'm going to try to paint on too. Alrighty. Let's see. One. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do another little layer of this. I can't wait to see how this looks when I spin the yarn. I always worry that it's going to, get muddy or look weird or bad or something. And I've only spun a couple of things that I actually ended up not liking. So I mean, I definitely like some things more than others, but there have been very few things I've spun that I thought I wish I hadn't bothered to spin that. This is where the artist entered the room. There you go. Okay. Now we'll spread this one out, and we're going to do a layer of it. Trying to keep it from going in a big bunch. Yeah. Well, and it usually always turns out good, so I think color theory definitely has a place in all of this, but I mean, I don't think you want to throw it out the window. But I also think that that if you just stick by it, you end up maybe not being willing to try some things that you might like. So, okay, we're going to put that one. Where did my pink go? Oh, there it is. We're going to just switch their places. Put all of them in a different spot. One thing about this is I can be symmetrical and be artistic all at the same time. Let's see. I've wanted to crochet or knit something for a friend. She loves fall colors. I haven't found anything that made me feel it would work. It was either too expensive for me or not at the store you can get. Oh, yeah. That is a thing, for sure. I haven't watched a whole lot of the stuff on YouTube about Joann's, but I thought they were all closing. Are they not all closing? Um, I've been surprised ours held on this long because their customer service has never been good at ours. I don't know, what it is at other people's Joann's, but ours has never been good. It's always been frustrating to go in there, especially if you have a coupon. Um, but they do have some things no one else has, and so um, it'll be kind of sad. But we have got a new yarn store in town specifically for knitters and spinners and weavers, and I'm very excited by that. I haven't been in there yet, but the people who own it have joined our guild, and so I need to go in there. I just found out about it a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't had the chance. Oh, you're not supposed to go in yet. That green was attaching itself. See all this extra pink? That's why we're switching them around. Not as much for color reasons as for trying to keep the bat more uniform. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. That'll pack it down a little bit, and the more will go on. Easter, yeah, there you go. Oh, probably so, Sherry. I haven't been in there, but I'm sure I will probably faint at the price too. Um, yeah, I've got, of course, it might not, depending on what kind of spinning and weaving things they have. They're trying hard to be compatible with online, which is hard to do when you're in a brick and mortar store because you have so much more overhead. But they're trying because they want to be able to make this work, in Amarillo, which it we haven't ever had that, a store with spinning and weaving stuff. They even sell spinning wheels and looms. Now I don't know if they sell. I'm not sure. I know they sell Shot brand. I'm not sure what else, but anyway, I think I can't wait to go in there and see what they've got. I'll have to buy something just to support them, but I'm going to try to make it something that's not very expensive because I can't afford to be spending that kind of a bunch of money on that. I need to just use all the stuff I've got. I've got a lot, so okay. And I'm going to do a little bit more of this. I think I'm just going to go ahead and let this be inside and just put the coppery stuff on the outside. Not because this is harder to incorporate to keep from falling off. And when that bat shrinks, it would probably fall off easier. I noticed that I got an ad from Michaels saying that they were going to be carrying fabric again, and I was like, well, they're probably doing that because Joann's is going out of business, and they know now they'll have more of a market for it. I might be wrong, but that's kind of what my brain's thinking. All right, let's see if we can get this to spread out a little more, maybe. I left some for on top, so don't never fear. I saved some, but I don't want that much right there. Okay, and I don't think I did any of this, so let's take a little bit of it, put it on. We have one quilting store in town, and then we have Hobby Lobby and Joann's, and those are the only two places you can buy the only places you can buy fabric in Amarillo. So if Michaels starts carrying it, then that will be helpful for people here in town. Okay, I've always thought we could handle more of those specialty stores than we do, because people from little towns all around, would come if they knew they were here. But I might be wrong about that. But people don't seem to take my opinion on it when it comes to doing that, because they don't, they don't bring them in. But anyway, when I was young, we had, a lot of cloth stores. We had several. We had Sewing World, and I can't remember, Cloth World, and we had several of them, but those have all gone out of business. Okay. Now we've got our last bunch of colors. All right. I'm trying to remember. I think we did green at the top on the last go round. And it was at the bottom first. So we're going to put it in the middle this time. This one's thinner than my other one, so I'm not going to stretch it very much. It was the thin edge. And it's time for pink to go at the bottom now. We had Hancocks too. Yeah. I knew there was another one. I just couldn't think of it. In fact, I got my wedding fabric for my wedding dress at Hancock's. And it was about to go out of business when I did that. And that was, 28 years ago. So. And orange at the top. I hope this is right. It won't make a big difference if it's not, but but I hope it is. Thank you, Sherry. Oh, that's causing problems. I don't want it wrapping around my these things down here. Look how much longer this pink one is. I don't know. It is going to be however it is. Okay. And now we're going to do the green, and then we're going to add these things, and we'll be done with this one. And then I'll have two sets of fun bats to spin. Thank you, Sherry. I'm enjoying it. And I think it'll be pretty when it's spun. I wanted this dark green in there because I was wanting it to look like spring, and I wanted some greenery, in with my spring. Okay. Let's do the copper first. Let's see if we can spread this out a little bit better than. And now our sparkle. Now the last bat, I didn't put the copper on top like I did this time. So this one is a little bit different. But anyway, that is okay. It probably won't matter. And if it makes a difference, it'll be fun to see the difference it makes. So. Oh, I got a lot there. Let me see if I can take some of that off. Because I like the sparkle stuff, but I don't like to spin. I don't like it when it becomes the yarn for a few minutes. There we go. Okay. Now I'll take this one off. I think I like the look of this one better than the other one, and it's purely because I put the copper on top, because that's basically the only difference. Oh, isn't that funny? All it takes is a little copper. Hi, Freya. I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad you came in and let us know that you've been here lurking. We're happy to have you. And we don't mind lurkers, but we always enjoy getting to know people too. So we're glad you're here. And this is heavy. I need to go a little bit smaller. When I was doing all those little bats, I kind of got spoiled. Okay, come on. You can tell I'm grabbing too much when it's moving my loom around. But I am getting better at leaving short ends over here and all the tall ones over here, and I'm very proud of that. Sometimes I talk nonstop, sometimes nothing. There you go, Freya. I totally understand. Totally. Okay. This is already so puffy. Look at that. I mean, I can barely grab it. Looks like flowers right there, doesn't it? Okay, well, there it is. Beautiful bat. Oh, I love it. Yep, that copper makes me love this one more than the other one. But there's copper in the other one, so it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I'm just going to leave this laying right here. And thank you. I love it, and I love my blue one. Let's bring it back so we can see it too. Now that it's shrunk up. So we got two beautiful bats. And two totally different yarns to spin. So that'll be fun. I get bored easy when it comes to spinning. I like to spin. So I usually have like 4 or 5 different projects on my bobbins at the same time, which is good because I have a bunch of bobbins with my little electric spinner. The bobbins are not expensive, so I can have a bunch of them. A crocheting grandma. All right. Good for you. Well, I do some crochet. I've never done any crochet, I don't think, on videos or on streaming, but I do crochet a little bit. Right now, I'm spinning. Well, I'm carding bats and spinning yarn to crochet me a what do they call it? A cocoon shrug or a cocoon cardigan. It's called both of those things, but I'm doing that too. That's a long-term project, so I'm doing all these things in between in order to keep it funner. But anyway, I do need to get off now. I have been on here longer than I intended to be. I always think this is going to take less time than it takes, but it takes as much time as it takes. Anyway, yeah, Sherry, Barbara, why don't both of you go ahead and put your channels in so that Freya can see them. You're making your first cardigan. Cool. I'll go. Well, maybe I can do it now. I forget I can do that. I'm going to pull up your channel, and if I'm not subscribed already, I want to be. So, bye, Brittany. Oh, Brittany, put yours in too. I hadn't seen you in a minute, and I forgot you were here. Brittany, Barbara, Sherry, all, if you don't mind putting a link to your channels in the chat. I'll wait to leave till you do it if you'll do it for me. That way Freya can find y'all. Yeah, I'm not a good finisher either. But I've put so much time into spinning the yarn for this cardigan, I probably will finish it. Although I have to admit something. Last night, I was having serious thoughts about using that to spin a fabric for a jacket instead of crocheting it, because I could weave a jacket instead of crochet a jacket. But I haven't decided to change yet, because I need to. I want to say I did that. I want to crochet it. Say I took something all the way to a crocheted project. But anyway, thanks, Barbara. Thanks, Brittany. Thanks, Sherry. Okay, love you all. I'll see you hopefully on Sunday with Tanya, and then if I'm doing good enough, next Thursday too. So bless you all. Bye bye.